Hello art friends, my name is Fleshwad and today I will be reading 3r/Let's Not Meet stories for you. Remember to watch this video in the dark with the lights off and your headphones on for the best viewing experience. As a heads up, some of these stories are not suitable for younger viewers. Our first story is titled He Confessed What? And was posted by u/Scarlet_lunatic. I am a first-time poster and English is not my first language, but please hang on. So this happened to me around 3 to 4 years ago. I'm a little skinny 22 female now, but after reading some stories here, I remembered this one guy in particular. I'm from Austria and still live in this little unspectacular town. We don't have much to do here and are not known for any kind of crime. So at the time this occurred, I didn't have a job. The job center told me to visit a class, something about computers. There were about 20 other guys and with me, we were 2 girls. So pretty big sausage party. Most of them were cool and we had fun in class. In front of me was this tall, big guy, Joe. We didn't talk at all at first. After a week I was home searching through Lovoo, a dating app, and found Joe on it. It's happened a few times that I would find some old good friends of mine on this app, even a coworker I still have a crush on. I ignored it and a few hours later I got a message. It was Joe. He asked me if we go to the same class and I said yes. We texted for some hours. We became kind of buddies, even in class. Fast forward to the last week of class, 3 weeks after we exchanged first texts. Joe and I talked more and more and even went drinking together. Yeah, we made out, but nothing more. Joe was a little bit odd, but cool to chill and talk. Until he was drunk. He became kind of clingy and said he didn't want to let me go. He loved me, along those lines. I got a little bit uncomfortable, but no red flags. I just have bad luck in love. After some hours drinking, I became tired and just wanted to go home. So he took me to the train station so I could get home safe. We sat there and talked, and I asked him about a tattoo he had. That's when he told me that he was in prison. Not that creepy because I know more than him who were in jail, but when I asked him why he was in jail, I became a little bit scared. He told me he may have killed someone. I don't remember how or why. If I remember correctly, it was after a fight and the other guy died in the hospital, but I was scared. I don't get easily scared because of my obsession with horror movies, but at this point, I wish the damn train would arrive. I only wanted to get away from creepy Joe. Luckily, the train pulled into the station 10 minutes later and I got home. I thought about Joe's story the whole way. I could hear the song, Come Join the Murderer, from Sons of Anarchy playing through my earphones. Ironically. But after that, I didn't talk much to Joe, and he knew something was off. He messaged me for some time, but I never replied and he lost interest. I knew he liked me, so I don't think he wanted to kill me. I know that wasn't his intention, and I know that happened in his past, and he lost some time of his life due to his imprisonment. I really believe he changed his way and attitude while sitting in jail. I never told anyone about this. Still, I hope he'll never read this post. But Joe, the odd, big and tall, little bit creepy and freaky classmate, let's never meet again. And please, don't come after me. Creepy phone calls at my retail job. Hosted by Sarcasm and Pepper. This was about 6 to 7 years ago when I was 17. I worked as a soft line, clothes, sales associate at a large chain department store. My job was to walk around the floor and essentially keep everything organized. I would fold clothes, clean out the fitting rooms, put items that had been returned back in the right place, and help out any customers who needed it. Generally, I liked the job. It was easy and all the girls I worked with were around my age, and really cool. One of my least favorite parts of the job was answering phone calls. The customer service desk would put relevant calls through to the phone in the appropriate department, for example, women's or kids, and whomever was assigned to that area for their shift would answer it. These calls usually consisted of speaking to an employee from another store location about finding an item and putting it on hold for a customer, or speaking to a customer directly about whether or not we had an item they were looking for. It wouldn't have been so bad if the phones were cordless, but they were not. I have too many memories of having to run back and forth between the phones and the rest of the store as I looked for whatever the person on the other end wanted. I digress. One particular summer day, I remember because the uniform was khakis and a hideous polo year-round, so I was sweating. There was a call for the kids department. I made my way over to the phone and took the call. It was a man speaking in a low voice, as if he was trying to be quiet. The conversation went something like this. Creep.
Hi. Do you have any socks?
Me. Slightly annoyed because this is a clothing store. Obviously we have socks. Yes, we do. Creep.
How big are they?
Do you mean like what size? The kids' socks are sized just like shoes are. So we have socks that fit a range of sizes, like 4 to 6 and so on. Creep.
Yeah, but how big are they about?
Me. Very annoyed now because what the hell does he want from me? I don't know how to answer you. What size shoe does the kid you're shopping for wear? Creep.
Oh, I'm using them for something else. It's, an experiment.
That's the last part of the conversation I really remember. It was at that point that I was creeped out by more than his voice, because he just sounded like a weirdo. I don't remember how the call ended. I know for sure I maintained my professionalism and found a way out of it, because I can remember telling the girl I was working with at the time. I ended up telling most of the girls who worked in soft lines with me, because all creepiness aside, I found it genuinely hilarious. It might be worth mentioning once again that all of us who worked in the clothing departments in this store were high school-aged girls. It didn't take super long for one of my colleagues to get a similar phone call. We happened to be working together and she came to tell me about the weird phone call she just had. We compared our experiences and decided at this point we should tell a manager, since it apparently wasn't a one-off thing. The manager at the time was a woman around my mother's age, who also happened to have daughters in high school. I was relieved when she looked disturbed as we recounted our stories and told us to come and get her should he call back. If you guessed it, he indeed called back. You get a cookie. The next few times he called, the same colleague got him, and she said the conversation always started with him asking for socks, and becoming progressively more creepy. He would always ask really specific details about how big the socks were and what colors we had. When asked anything about what he needed them for, he always gave some vague, creepy answer like an experiment. The way she described it, he seemed to be escalating from his first few calls. It seemed like he would ask more questions or be breathing more loudly as he called back more often. What bothers me the most about this now, though, is that it always had to be kids' socks. He always called the kids' department, and he always confirmed he was looking for kids' socks when asked if he would rather be put through to the men's department. The next time I got the call, I tried to be subtle about the fact that I was getting a manager. I think that someone else had made the mistake of saying something like, "Hold on, let me ask my manager," and by the time the manager got the call, he had already hung up. As soon as I heard,
"Hi, do you have any socks?"
I fought the urge to vomit as I tried to be casual. After he asked his inevitably weird specific questions about the sock sizes, I told him I had to place him on hold so that I could, quote-unquote, go check. Of course, I bolted for the manager's office at the back of the store. Probably looking like a lunatic, my manager dropped what she was doing to come back to the phone with me and take the call. The dude was still on the line when she picked up the phone, but as soon as she introduced herself and asked how she could help, he hung up. I didn't hear anything about him calling again after that, and I sincerely hope he got scared enough to knock it off. More likely, though, he just started calling somewhere else. This may not seem that creepy. At the time, I thought it was relatively harmless. But I've since heard similar stories about weird calls to retail workers, which prompted me to share this here. So, dude with a weird affinity to children's socks? Let's not meet. Stalking is not romantic, kids. Posted by you/Ixie things. I've had a lot of stalkers, more than I would like to admit. They're all creepy, but for some reason, the guy I'm going to talk about in here was the most creepy, but yet the least harmful of them all. Name changed because I suspect he uses Reddit. We met in college through friends in common. We had similar interests, similar humor, had been to the same events in the city, and he had actually known me way before when I did cosplay, so we started talking and hanging out a lot. I, for some reason, never felt comfortable hanging out with him alone, so I always had a friend with me and refused to see him outside of the university campus for some reason. I still can't explain. He always seemed bothered by it, but never said it out loud. Around a month after meeting him, I was in the mood, feeling lonely and hadn't been to any social gatherings recently, nor had any flirting, or someone to flirt with. I accidentally mentioned this to Kevin, the guy, when chatting one day, and he suggested he felt the same, and that we should take care of that together. He isn't a bad-looking guy and seemed pretty kind by the way he spoke and offered it to me. So I said, "Okay, I'll go to your house after class and let's see if we have some sort of chemistry." Kevin was a medicine student, and I am an art student. Our faculties are separated by literally kilometers. He had never been in my hallway or my faculty, for all of that matter. I'd never been in his either. We and our friends had always met in the middle of both. But that day, as I was going out the door, he was there, waving. I asked how the hell did he know where I was, and when my class ended, he didn't answer and just smiled like a kid who just surprised his mom with breakfast or something. So off we went to his house, which was conveniently close to college. Around a 10-minute walk. I started to invent excuses because I was feeling uncomfortable, like having to go buy bread or checking an art store, or doing this and that, and he accompanied me to everything I came up with. I ran out of things to say and finally ended up at his place. I still remember his hard breathing while we were both in the elevator. Fast forward maybe an hour of us awkwardly talking in the living room, trying to start the deed but failing. I faked a stomach sickness, said that I needed some homemade medicine common in my country, and he magically had all of the ingredients. He tried to rub my stomach, and I kind of freaked out and told him, "Let's leave the touching for later when I feel better." Fast forward half an hour, he went into his bedroom and came out in his underwear, socks, and a Burger King crown on his head. Asked if we were going to get down to it or not. I'm normally a no-filter person, but his behavior kept putting me off, and I had figured by now that I had been uncomfortable since the very beginning, that it was probably the best to act as dumb as I could. So I convinced him that today wasn't the best day to do that, and we left. He insisted to escort me back to college, just in case, and I refused. But he still followed me in silence. Walking about 5 feet behind me, I saw him with a corner of my eye, but decided not to confront it. I gradually started ghosting him, stopped replying to his messages, gave him vague answers, stopped sharing my information, answering just, "Okay, wow, LOL, yeah, I know, right? Oh, okay." This went on for another 2 to 3 weeks. I barely gave him any information of my whereabouts either, so I thought he'd leave me alone. He still showed at my hall and my faculty from time to time, but I made sure to avoid him as much as I could, and I also started hanging more with some other friends that didn't know him. You see, this is where it gets creepy. Before I knew him, I joined the football team of my school, career major, so most of the afternoons, I was always at the same court where we trained and stuff, and stayed there for around 4 hours almost every day of the week. I had been going there with my new group of friends for 6 months to train. Then Kevin came into my life for 2 more months. In this 2 months, I never told him where I trained. I did tell him I played football, but never that I played inside the college campus. One night, he messaged me as usual. I was still in the process of gradually ghosting, so I chatted for a bit, with long time intervals in between messages, and casually mentioned that no, I couldn't meet with him the next day, because I had a class and then training. He asked when I was getting off practice, and I said I don't know. Probably late, then completely stopped answering. Next day afternoon, I trained with my dudes as usual. I still am the only girl on the team. It attracts creepers, but I've learned to ignore them. And they usually all chill in a tree that's behind the fence where I normally stand. I play as the goalie, so I normally don't look back or to the other place that isn't the game in front of me. We play for around 4 to 5 hours, chill a little in the court benches, then head to the law faculty, which is the closest place where we can refill our water. This has been our routine for the entire 8 months. The law faculty is still pretty far away from the court, but we like it there. While my friends are refilling their coolers, I check my phone. It starts buzzing and I see the unread messages. Pop-ups increase from 9 to 17 in seconds.
Where are you? I don't see you. Please tell me where you are. I'm looking for you. Fuck, I go to the bathroom 1 minute. 1 minute! And that's the minute you decide to disappear? How do you do this? I've been watching you all afternoon, and you didn't move for 4 hours. Where are you? Fuck, I can't find you. You look nice playing, though. Very nice. Probably those dudes all flirt with you. Training that body, looking even more good. I still can't find you. Are you gonna tell me where you are or not? Can we hang out later? I miss talking to you. God damn it! I swear, if I don't see you right now, I'm leaving. Where are you?
I nervously looked around, closed the chat, and locked my phone. We were on the 2nd floor of the faculty. My dudes didn't notice I was nervous, but I casually grabbed the arm of the biggest one of them, and my best friend too, and hanged out to him, whining about being tired as an excuse. Once we finished going downstairs, Kevin walked right in front of us, went towards us, and casually kept walking to go upstairs. We locked eyes for a second. I smiled at a joke and grabbed my friend's arm even tighter, but inside, I was freaked out. The dudes, of course, didn't notice. There were 5 of them, and all of them were buff. To this day, I still think he didn't do anything because I was surrounded by guys who clearly could beat him up, whatever that anything was. I had planned on staying after practice that day to chill and maybe have a beer or 2 with whatever friend I could find. But I ended up leaving as fast as I could once all of my friends denied wanting to stay, nor refused to accompany me to the other exit of my uni. We all had to take different exits that were closer to our houses, or the route we took to get home. So I ended up faking I had to go the other direction, which was conveniently the exit Kevin took to go to his home, just so I didn't have to walk alone. I didn't see Kevin after this, and I completely ghosted him that night. I still have him added on Facebook to be able to check his whereabouts and to avoid him. Thanks for leaving the country, Kevin. And that is all of the r/let's not meet stories I have for you tonight. Special thanks to my horror pal Jensen for helping me out in this video. All links will be in the description below, so check out the stories and check out his channel for more creepiness. Remember to like this video if you liked the art and to subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much for watching, art friends. Until the next video, bye.